My wife's car broke down. Our neighbor offered her a ride for a few days. I thanked him. Thought it was harmless. Then she started dressing up for errands. Coming home late. Distant. One morning, I opened her glove box and found a receipt, 2 plane tickets to Vegas. Booked weeks ago. With his name on them. When I asked, she just whispered, "You stopped seeing me." He didn't. I'm 39. I live in Dayton, Ohio. I run a small auto repair shop on the south side of town. Been working on cars since I was 17. I married my high school sweetheart Tara. We've been together since we were kids. Bought a modest house, had some tough years early on, but we made it work. I thought we were solid. Comfortable. Maybe too comfortable. Tara worked as a dental assistant. She'd be out the door by 7:30 most mornings. I'd already be in the garage. We had a routine. She'd bring home takeout some nights, we'd watch something dumb on TV, maybe fool around once in a while. Lately it had been more like roommates. But I thought that was just part of getting older. Then her car died. Monday morning, 2 months ago. Radiator blew on her Corolla. She called me freaking out on her way to work, white smoke everywhere. I told her not to panic, I'd get it towed to my shop and take a look that night. I figured she'd take an Uber or something. That's when Brent stepped in. Brent lives across the street. Mid-40s, divorced last year. No kids. Drives a brand new Audi A6. Always jogging, always smiling like life never punched him in the face. I didn't know him well, but I didn't have a reason not to trust him. Tara said he saw her on the side of the road, offered her a ride. I thanked him that night when I saw him outside. He said, "No problem, happy to help." He said it like we were buddies. Tara rode with him the next day too. Then the next. She said it was easier than dealing with Uber. I was swamped at the shop that week, short a guy, so I didn't have time to fix her car right away. She told me not to worry. "Take your time," she said. That was the first time something didn't sit right. Because Tara? She's not patient. Not with stuff like this. Her car was her independence. Her freedom. And now she was letting some guy drive her around like it was no big deal? I tried to brush it off. Told myself I was being paranoid. Then she started dressing different. I mean, this is a woman who wore scrubs to work and yoga pants on weekends. Suddenly she was pulling out old dresses. Doing her makeup. Straightening her hair. Spraying perfume before errands. She looked like she was going to dinner in some fancy restaurant, not buying toilet paper at Kroger. When I said something, she laughed. "Can't a woman feel good about herself?" "Sure. Of course. But why now?" She was out later too. Coming home past 9 on random weeknights. Always with a story. Traffic. Lost track of time. Ran into a friend. You know how you can feel someone slipping away, even if they haven't said it yet? That's what this was. She wasn't mine anymore. I started checking things. Her phone? Locked. Her texts? Deleted. Her social media? Quiet. Too quiet. Then came the morning that broke everything open. I was looking for a flashlight. We keep one in the glove box of her car. I finally had time to start repairs. When I opened it up, I didn't find the flashlight. What I found was a folded receipt. A paper one. I don't know why she kept it. It was a booking confirmation. From Delta Airlines. 2 round-trip plane tickets. Dayton to Las Vegas. Booked nearly 3 weeks ago. One name was hers. The other was Brent Cross. I just sat there. My hands were shaking. My vision went blurry. I put the receipt back exactly how I found it. I didn't want her to know I'd seen it, not yet. I needed to think. I acted normal the rest of the day. Made breakfast. Kissed her goodbye. Went to work like nothing happened. But inside I wasn't okay. That night, I waited until after dinner. We were sitting on the couch, pretending to watch TV. I turned it off and asked her straight out. "What's going on with you and Brent?" She looked at me. No panic. No surprise. Just this, cold stillness. Then she whispered it. "You stopped seeing me." He didn't. That was it. No apology. No explanation. Just that. And I swear, something in me cracked right there. That night I didn't sleep. I lay there next to her, staring at the ceiling while she snored like everything was fine. I could smell his cologne on her. Not mine, his. That brand new, department store scent. Like she just stepped out of his car and into my bed. The next morning, I didn't go to work. I told my guys I had a family emergency. They didn't ask questions. I sat in my truck across the street from Brent's house and waited. At 7:15 a.m., he came out. Dressed in slacks and a button-up. Coffee in one hand, keys in the other. Then Tara walked out of our house, wearing jeans that hadn't seen daylight in years, and a tight blouse I hadn't seen since before our wedding. She climbed into his Audi without a word. He didn't even look my way. I followed them. Not close, just enough to keep them in view. They weren't heading to her office. I knew that route. Instead, they drove to a diner out on Route 4. Some place where nobody from our neighborhood would run into them. I parked down the block and waited. They were inside for nearly an hour. When they came out, she kissed him. Full on. Like I didn't exist. Like 15 years of marriage didn't mean anything. I wanted to smash his windshield. But I didn't. Instead, I started planning. First thing I did was finish the work on Tara's car. Quietly. I replaced everything, radiator, belts, even flushed the coolant. Good as new. Then I told her it was still waiting on a part. She shrugged. No rush. Exactly what I wanted. While she was still riding with Brent, I started digging. I found Brent's ex-wife on Facebook. Took some work, but I tracked her down. Katie Cross. Turns out she still lived in Cincinnati. I sent her a message, just a friendly one to start. She didn't respond right away, but 3 days later she called. You're Tara's husband? She said. Her voice was sharp, like she was holding back a scream. I knew he was seeing someone. That slimy son of a bitch. Turns out Brent had a history. He'd cheated on her twice. Left her for a bartender, then begged her back. Then left again for a coworker. His divorce had just finalized 6 months ago. You want to screw with him? She said. Because I've got stories. She told me about Brent's shady business practices, fudging expense reports, having affairs with reps, even lying to clients. I started keeping notes. Dates. Names. Details. Then I checked Tara's phone records. I paid extra for the itemized logs. Hundreds of texts. Late-night calls. All to him. Even while I was at work, they were talking. Probably laughing. That weekend, she told me she needed to get away for a few days. To clear my head, she said. I looked her dead in the eye. You going to Vegas? She froze. For a second, I thought she'd deny it. But she didn't. I was going to tell you, she mumbled. It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think. She didn't even try to fight me. Just packed a small suitcase and left. 2 days before their flight, I dropped her car off in front of our house. Fixed. Clean. Full tank. I left the keys in the mailbox. Then I made my next move. I printed the plane ticket receipt and taped it to Brent's front door. Right below it, I taped a copy of the messages from Tara's phone records. Dates. Times. How many minutes they spent on the phone while I was working 10-hour shifts. And then, I dropped an anonymous tip to Brent's company's HR department. With the receipts. With the Facebook messages from Katie. With screenshots of him flirting with clients online under a fake name. It was all very neat. I just needed one last thing. The last thing I needed was timing. I knew their flight to Vegas left Friday night at 6:40 p.m. out of Dayton International. I also knew they were driving there together, because Tara had texted her sister. Won't be around this weekend, taking a trip with a friend. Her sister sent me a screenshot. She always liked me more than Tara anyway. Friday morning, I was already 2 steps ahead. First, I called a buddy of mine from high school, Kyle. He's a cop now, works traffic detail. Not dirty, but not exactly a rule follower either. I told him I had a favor. I gave him Brent's license plate and said, if you see this guy flying down I-75 today, stop him. Do what you gotta do. Can't promise anything, Kyle said. But if I see him? Sure. I'll slow him down. Then I drove over to Brent's house around noon. No one was home. I walked right up to his front door with a large manila envelope. Inside, all the printouts. The cheating. The phone logs. The ticket receipt. The Facebook screenshots from his ex-wife. His LinkedIn profile with the words, sexual harassment allegation pending, scribbled in red marker across it. I wrote, thought you should know who you're dealing with, OP. I left the envelope wedged between his door and the frame. At 5:15 p.m., they pulled out of our street. I watched from inside my truck parked 2 blocks down. Tara was driving. Brent was in the passenger seat, laughing like he was king of the world. Kyle called me at 5:45. Got him. 68 in a 45. He gave me lip. I made it hurt. I grinned. You're the best, man. They'll still make the flight if they don't stop again. I had planned for that. At 6:10 p.m., Brent's phone started buzzing nonstop. His work had launched an internal investigation. Apparently, someone had forwarded a huge email chain to every manager in the regional office. HR was CC'd. The subject line: "Is this your employee?" The body of the email included a message from Katie, his ex-wife. "This man is a liar, a cheater, and a predator. I suggest you look closer." 30 minutes later, they landed in Vegas. Checked into the hotel. I know because Tara tagged the location on Instagram. I wasn't her follower anymore, but her profile was still public. Later that night, around 1 a.m. Ohio time, she texted me. "I know what you did." I didn't reply. She called. I let it ring. She tried again. This time I picked up, put the phone on speaker, and let her hear what I was doing. I was drinking a beer in the garage, and her wedding ring was dangling from a string, spinning slowly over the drain in the concrete floor. She didn't say a word. I hung up. The next morning, Brent's company put him on unpaid leave, pending investigation. The day after that, the HOA found out about a complaint someone filed against him for inappropriate behavior toward a female neighbor. Another anonymous tip. Not mine, but maybe Katie's. She seemed motivated. Tara came home the following week. Her car was sitting in the driveway, covered in dust and leaves. She looked tired. Older. Like Vegas wasn't the dream she expected. She walked inside and found her stuff boxed up. I didn't yell. Didn't argue. Just said, "You can stay at your mom's." She said, "You're destroying my life." I said, "No. You did that." She left without another word. A week passed. The house felt quiet. Too quiet. Like even the walls were trying to forget her. I went to work every day like normal. Customers came in, oil got changed, brakes got fixed. But I wasn't the same. I could feel the anger still sitting in my chest, like something heavy pressing down on my ribs. I wasn't sleeping much. I kept thinking about what she said. "You stopped seeing me." I kept wondering if it was true. Maybe I had stopped noticing. Maybe I took her for granted. But even if I did, she didn't talk to me. She chose to sneak around. She chose him. And he knew I was her husband. He waved at me while driving her to work like we were still neighbors, like he wasn't sleeping with my wife behind my back. Then came the fallout. Brent didn't just lose his job. The HR team found enough dirt from Katie and a few other women to fire him. For cause. That means no severance. No references. Nothing. Just gone. A week later, someone broke his car window with a rock. The note left inside said, "Stay away from other men's wives." I didn't do it. But I smiled when I saw the news on the neighborhood app. He moved out a month later. Quietly. No goodbyes. No more jogs. No more smiles. The Audi sat in his driveway, unsold, until a repo truck came and hauled it off. Tara stayed at her mom's. She kept texting, though. Sometimes angry. Sometimes sad. Once she said, "We were dead before Brent. You just didn't want to admit it." Another time, "I made a mistake. I miss you." I ignored most of them. Then, 3 months after she left, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. "She's pregnant. She says it's mine? But I don't want anything to do with her. Sorry, man." It was from Brent. I didn't reply. I just stared at the screen. Pregnant. So all that time she was sneaking around, she'd already crossed a line that couldn't be undone. I didn't tell her I knew. I didn't need to. She showed up one night, pounding on the door, crying. "I didn't know until after Vegas," she said. "I thought it was his. But now, I'm not sure." I didn't say anything. "I made a mistake," she whispered. I opened the door, stepped outside, and handed her the envelope I'd kept. The ticket receipt. The phone logs. The photos. Everything. "This is what I see when I look at you now." She looked down at the papers, then up at me. Her makeup was smeared. Her hands were shaking. "I'm alone," she said. "I know." She left that night. I never saw her again. Later, I found out through her sister that she had the baby. A boy. Healthy. No one knows for sure who the father is. Brent disappeared, moved states, maybe changed his name. He wanted nothing to do with it. She named the boy Caleb. That was the name we once picked out when we thought we might have kids. I went back to work. Fixed cars. Changed tires. Replaced radiators. Sometimes I think about what she said. That I stopped seeing her. And maybe she was right. But she stopped being her. She became someone I didn't recognize. And when I had the chance to destroy both of them, I didn't even lift a finger. All I did was give the truth a little push. They handled the rest.